First item business, approval of the agenda.
And we have a revised agenda out there. We just added another notation under the closed session and also a temporary access permit for the DNR to do some work in the Bat Cave.
Okay,
Okay, entertain a motion.
I'll move to
Alright.
accept the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Bruce, seconded by Bob to approve the revised agenda that's before you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously. Approval of the minutes from our regular and closed session of July 10th and 24th, and the closed session of July 10th.
I'll make a motion to accept it
Alright.
in the minutes. Second.
Motion by Bruce, seconded by Jeremy to approve the minutes of July 10th and 24th, and the closed session of July 10th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried unanimously. Public input. Anyone here to address the board tonight, other than the planned items on the agenda? Okay. First addendum to revise final plat of Hidden Hollow Estates, townhomes and condominiums.
Yes, we have a revised plat before us. Originally, the lots out here were platted as separate detached townhomes, which they all are except for an existing house that was on the property. I think it was anticipated that that would be demolished at some point and be platted into two separate single-family detached townhomes. The owner of the property, Liz Willie, who's here tonight, has requested the amendment in order to be able to sell the existing house. So what the amendment is actually replatting it. So the 2.9 and 2.10 that were on the original plat as separate townhomes will now be shown as part of an existing structure, so they can be then addressed off of that legal description, and then the garages are separate also with that. So the Planning Commission reviewed it at their meeting last week and recommended approval of the plat.
I'll make a motion that we approve. Change.
Second.
Motion by Van, seconded by Bob to approve the First Amendment to the revised plat of Hidden Hollow Estates townhomes. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried unanimously. Award bid for street striping.
Yes, Angela's here tonight too.
So we went out for bids on the street striping, we received two back, as you see, they're big discrepancy. I believe that the second bidder, it was mostly in crosswalks, and WisDOT only has the two-line for crosswalks, and I'm assuming the second bidder bid the blocks, but, that's where, yeah, but that's what they submitted, so we have to, we can't, negotiate, obviously, after bids are open, so, I shouldn't say negotiate, but we can't do anything about it. I think they just did it wrong, so at this time, we would recommend that AAA Striping, who we've worked with in the past, are very reputable, AAA Striping be awarded the bid for the $32,880.20. And the striping basically, it's actually explained, is basically Main Street from roughly First to Seventh, where they did the seal coating, well, and then the side, we're doing the side streets.
The side streets, yeah.
WisDOT did where they seal coated, but we're doing the parking and the side streets.
Right. I think we're doing Chieftain also?
Yeah,
Yep.
and then it wraps around.
Wraps around Chieftain, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to award.
I'll second it.
Motion by Bob, seconded by Van to approve the striping bid to AAA Striping Service Company in the amount of $32,880.20. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried unanimously. Markin and Johnson, pay request number 10 for Village Hall, Library, Discovery Center, Senior Center.
Yep, it's been reviewed by our architect and signed off on for pay request number 10, $920,891.
I'm still on budget and everything looks good that way.
Yep, we're still on budget with that.
Completion schedule is still intact.
Still intact, yeah, for completion schedule. It'll be probably in October, early October that we're anticipating an opening, so keep track it week by week, but seems to look good.
I'll make a motion to approve the payment of $920,891.
I'll second that.
Motion by Van, seconded by Bruce to approve the payment to Markin and Johnson, pay request number 10. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously. Award bid for sewer and water utilities for the Fab Lab and Workforce Development Facility.
So we took bids on the Fab Lab, we received two bids, one from DNF, one from A1 Excavating, and basically it's extending the sewer and water to that back area, what that's going to be the Fab Lab. And, yeah, anyone have questions?
Yeah.
Yes,
So it came in quite a bit higher, thinking because of limestone?
we have basically there's $10,000 extra for rock excavation.
Yep.
In that area. Also, I think the estimate was done a year and a half ago. I'm trying to think of when we actually.
Didn't they have a lot of trouble getting it into the fire hall because of limestone they found?
Yeah, we did. We found more than they thought.
Extra rock.
It's only a foot down, foot and a
Yeah.
half down.
And they thought it was deeper than that when they first were gonna do it?
Yeah. So,
So, and I did add some additional information too, since it is over the original budget with the grant. We should get concurrence from Mill Pond Learning Foundation. And then in talking with Craig Johnson from the regional planning that is working with the EDA, it's subject to EDA concurrence too. It's a grant requirement. So if you make it approval with those two conditions.
Angela, what is the, how long do we have on these bids
we know, we
to
can
award?
We can hold bids up to 60 days.
60 days,
60 days,
okay.
We don't have to hold
That's
bid
right. All right.
process.
And what's
Thank you.
the impact on, is there a weather component to the schedule? You gotta do it by a certain time?
Well, I think
or-
to get, Angela can answer that question, yeah.
We do have a completion date of mid-October, however, there's, the only paving on this project is for that driveway that heads to the north, so it's not a critical item as far as filling in that driveway. I don't know, if there's no plans right now to the north.
No, not,
Um,
The actual excavation of that
So-
stuff?
So excavation, they could go actually to, well, weather
Okay.
dependent, but they could
I
probably go till
understood.
November, 1st of December, so.
Yeah, okay.
If we, extend their completion date out, which that is a possibility, or, not a big deal if we did
Just
wanna do
troubled
that.
by how much that is over.
If we did not take action on this tonight, that'd be okay.
Actually,
And we
that's
could do
fine.
that next
Yeah.
month or,
mhm.
okay. I'm gonna recommend that we defer approving this. The Fab Lab Committee is meeting with SEH a week from Thursday, is their next scheduled meeting in the morning, on the 23rd. And we're gonna be going over the latest cost projections that SEH has at that time. And I really think they should look this over before any decision is made. So instead of approving it contingent on their approval, I'd feel better if we just defer
Right.
and not take any action tonight. So,
So you just want to table it then till the next meeting?
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
yeah,
We'll need a motion to do that.
I'll make a motion that,
okay.
we will table this.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Van and seconded by Bruce to table the award bidding for the site utility work for the Fab Lab and Workforce Development Facility. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried unanimously. Resolution 1808, general obligation and other promissory notes for capital improvement projects.
Yeah, so this is a follow-up to, I think, information presented previously to the board. about bonding for our capital improvements program. It's a couple different parts. There's a general obligation promissory note in the amount of 1.735 million. That's for our 2017-2018 capital improvements outside of the Village Hall and various other projects. A tax increment revenue note in the amount of $315,000. That's related to that 6th Avenue redevelopment site and the costs that were assessed to that site from the 4th Avenue and Kent Street project. There's a water revenue note for 25.5. Again, that's related to the 4th and Kent Street for us. And then a sewer revenue note in the amount of 155.5, and that's part of the Kent Street project too. And then we're finishing up on the Economic Development Authority lease revenue bond with the fire hall when we acquired the property through that process. So that'd be $720,000. So we're asking basically permission to proceed to work with the bank and our bond advisors to prepare these separate notes.
Valuation went up in the village too, right?
Yeah, 5.7%. Yeah,
So that gives us a little bit
give it a little bit more room.
of flexibility and.
We were thinking 5%, but past years it was 6% anyway.
Right.
So yeah, it's been pretty good.
Thank God.
Okay, we need a motion.
Motion? I'll make a motion to, go forward with this general litigation plan and, get to work with the bank.
I'll second it.
Motion by Bruce, seconded by Van to approve resolution 1808. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously. Appointing a municipal prosecutor.
Yes, Tim Laux has decided to retire and gave us notice here a little over a month ago. So we put together a quick request for proposals and solicited for firms to be our prosecutor. We received 3 proposals. Baki Norman, they provide our civil type processes for the village. Williamson and Seiler, and then Ludvigsen Law Office out of Osceola. Provided you copies of their proposals and then the summary sheet with that. And Ron did some work on this too, so I think he's got a recommendation too that of Mariah Ludvigsen locally. We've had a lot of luck having a local prosecutor with Tim particularly, but it is a professional service. You are free to choose when best serves the interest of the village, and if you need to, you can ask Ron his opinion too.
Ron, do you wish to speak to this?
Well, I mean, Joel did a nice job putting together a summary, talk about the experience and stuff. They're all very reputable, good law firms, they all do a great job. I just am familiar with Ludvigsen Law Firm because she did some work at the Polk County District Attorney's Office as an assistant district attorney. She did a fantastic job. And like Joel said earlier, it's nice to have a local attorney because when you have to drop stuff off, pick stuff up, or have consultations, it's just real close and drop, and we were spoiled over the years with Tim here in town, so that's my recommendation if we want to keep it local just for efficiency, but they all do a fine job.
I'd like to keep it local.
No?
Yeah.
Well, we're not in any requirement that this isn't a long-term approval.
Right, yeah.
You know, it can be changed at
Is this
a later time. We were with Tim for, I don't know.
We'll have her come back with a contract. It's usually year to year. I think we were doing with Tim at the end too, so it was in place for a long
Worst case,
time.
we're on the hook for a year. And then
Yeah.
change.
You could have like 60-day or 90-day out clauses too, if you need to, so yeah.
Okay,
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Mariah Ludvigsen.
I'll second.
All right. Motion by Bob, seconded by Bruce to enter into a contract for municipal prosecutor with Ludvigsen Law Office. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion approved, 5-0 with 1 abstention. Licenses and permits, beverage server operator license.
You have 4 before you there. One approving subject to proof of schooling. Yeah, you can do all four at
with
once,
the,
yeah. With the schooling for the
with the
one.
schooling
Right.
proof needed for the one.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we'll approve
Okay.
3 of them, and then, of course, approval of the 4th on completion of the school.
Or proof of school, okay. Motion by Van, seconded by Jeremy, to approve the 4 beverage server operator licenses before us with the added need for proof of schooling by Catherine Labacut, I believe. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously. Special event permits. First one up, Osceola Community Fair Association. Queens Committee, Royal Queens Key.
I think this is the first time we've had this one, but it's happening
It's
during.
been at the school, I think.
Oh, has it?
Yeah.
Okay. We're having it out at
Park now.
the park now, so everything was in order, so recommend approval.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Bob, seconded by Bruce to approve the Osceola Community Fair Association Queens Committee, Queens Tea. Any questions or comments on said permit? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously. Osceola Community Fair Association, the Osceola Community Fair, September 7th through the 9th.
Right. They're pretty consistent with previous years. Everything's in order. So we'll be sitting down with them, going through, making sure everything checks out for the fair.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the event application for the Osceola Community Fair.
I'll second.
Motion by Van, seconded by Bob. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously. Special event permit, Osceola Chamber and Main Street Fall Decorating Downtown, September 18th through December 8th.
Is this affecting our village crew at all? Rick, do you know?
Oh, yeah, the Bible thought that one, but I know in the past we worked with the chamber, just with the decorations and things they were putting out to make sure there weren't enough outlets in our sidewalks and everything.
Yeah.
like that. And as long as they're, picking up after themselves and taking their things down, I know, we've never had an issue with it.
Yeah.
I think I'll, make a motion to approve this
Okay.
special permit application, all decorating downtown.
Motion by Bruce, seconded by Jeremy. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously. Construction or conditional obstruction permit fee for Style Escape.
You see they've attached the sign that they propose. It'll be 48 inches tall, 24 inches wide, which is conforms to our requirements. And we'll
I got a question on this one.
Mhm.
The certificate of insurance or the waiving the village for, being liable. I don't see that
Oh.
on here.
It probably just wasn't copied. It was attached to the
Oh, it
original.
was?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So We probably just missed it when we were
Alright,
putting the attachments on for the.
so they had
They
the
had,
insurance.
they had insurance, or they signed the indemnity,
Right,
which does, what,
Regardless of
yeah,
the indemnity agreements was signed.
it was signed, okay, yeah. It
Is
wasn't
this
just-
a sign stone on the sidewalk?
Yeah, it's one of those sandwich board signs,
Okay.
yeah.
I make a motion that we approve a sign for Style Escapes.
Second.
Motion by Van, seconded by Bob to approve the conditional instruction permit for Style Escape. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously.
That's
Construction permit for Mango's Main Street Eatery.
I actually took a picture of it. They probably shouldn't have, but they did install it.
yeah, they did it.
But it's better than a little bit better than the drawing there
Yeah.
that they had. So it does conform, to our code. It does flip up then, and it'll be out of the way for any type of clearing of snow or any work we have to do out there.
Yeah,
So
that wasn't clear at all.
So they kinda wanna have a couple of like bar stools out there, maybe.
yeah, some bar stools or chairs.
So-
that. Just like others have those
Okay.
tables with chairs, but they're the
Alright.
lower tables.
Now, I gotta refresh my memory just a little bit, cause a while back, we, during this whole, consumption of alcohol issues in the front, are we gonna have problems with that?
Well,
Is this-
their
or
licensed
do we,
the licensed
is it-
premises is only inside the building.
Okay,
So we'll certainly notify them that they can't have any alcohol outside, but they can serve food if people wanna take it out there and
Right,
sit. But you
right.
can't have alcohol outside.
right, So they-
That distinction.
Yeah.
cause I don't think they realize, that that's the problem they're gonna run into.
Nothing of this is out the back though, right?
No, nothing's out the back, no.
Right. So, it's just one of those things.
That's a good point.
Yep.
So, can we put that in as a condition?
Oh, it's a condition that the liquor license are ready, but we'll add it here as a notation
Sure,
that it's clear to them
so
that
they
you
don't
can't
get
have any.
surprised
Yeah,
when They get cited for having alcohol.
Yeah,
or something.
Exactly.
that's not fair to them.
Yeah.
I mean, even though ignorance is no
No
excuse.
excuse, but
But-
still.
Just so the customers realize that
Yeah.
maybe they should have a placard or something of no alcohol
Mhm.
beyond this door.
well, it's just like the watershed does on their deck in the back with that stairs that go down,
Exactly.
it says no alcohol beyond this
Exactly.
point.
Right.
People can come and go from there, but they can't take any alcohol.
Right.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Motion by Bob, seconded by Jeremy to approve conditional obstruction permit for Mango's Main Street Eatery. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously. You wanna make sure Suzanne gets a copy of this
Yeah,
photo?
oh,
She can-
You-
I think she can have
you're
mine if
fine.
she wants.
Alright, dance permit for the Osceola Community Fair, September 7th and 8th.
yes. You can see the different times that they have listed on there.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Motion by Bob, seconded by Bruce to approve the dance permit for September 7th and 8th. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously. And then here was the item that was added to the agenda, temporary access permit to Wisconsin DNR to allow access to Cave and Eagle Bluff.
Yes, I did hand out some information, I did put some on the table of what they're doing, as you may know from the news media, the bats are suffering from what they call a white nose disease, some kind of fungus that
Oh.
interferes with them, causes them to lose body mass or whatever during the winter and such. They think they have a treatment that they want to try out here and in various places around Wisconsin, so they're asking for temporary access to the bat cave on Eagle Bluff there behind the BP in the hill. They did come in and we granted them temporary access in the past when they redid the grates in front of that cave. So they secured it so only bats could go in and out, and it's locked for only authorized personnel. So I think it's a good thing. It's good cooperation with the DNR. So if we approve it, then they can make their plans.
That sounds like a good idea. I'll make a motion to approve this.
I'll second it.
Motion by Bruce, seconded by Van to approve temporary access permit to the Wisconsin DNR for access to the cave in Eagle Bluff. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously. Board and commission appointments, we do not have any tonight. Minutes and reports, staff reports, first up, administration.
Yes, as Van pointed out earlier, the new equalized market value is out. We're up 5.71% from last year. Continues a good trend with the housing construction that's going on. And County M, we're scheduling with Excel to get that speed sign installed, as we talked about before. Also working with prices to do a speed study, particularly out on the east end, where Simmons Drive is too. And we're looking to time that after school starts and then do the traffic so we can see if we can make a case for reduced speed at that end of County M. Rental inspections, about 70% complete. There is some new legislation out with the state that limits our, villages and cities for, on rental licensing. That'll have some impact going forward, so we're kind of working through that. Cross-connection inspections are 98% complete. And then our water rate increase application with the Public Service Commission, they did come back after our last meeting when I last updated you on this with a request. On July 19th, we fulfilled all the items in their additional requests for data. Airport Commission has completed work on updating the airport layout plan and upgraded fuel system and transit aircraft hangar and terminal building. So they're going to work on updating their 6-year plan and petition for improvements. And the Veterans Recognition Statue, I talked about this at the Plan Commission a little bit. There's some soil, water issues in the location there. We're actually going to be taking some soil borings out there too, there in some other areas in the park, in addition for some projects around the community to see if we can help aid that. We do have a grant request into the state, so I know that they're looking for assistance, but better to spend money after the grant's awarded. Then it's we don't have to. We get it counted toward the grant for that.
When you say major soil corrections, what, do you have any idea what they?
Depending, I mean, we're looking, want to look at a shelter, open shelter out there.
Yep.
I think with the statue, they're just trying to get it the right subgrade for the base. I think they have the material and everything. It's just placing the material for the cost.
There was a problem when they were putting up the silk screen and those types of things. They did some samples. Well, back before a lot of us were born, when they built that up, they threw a lot of timber down there.
Yeah.
Now that timber is basically preserved in its perfect state through the springs and everything. Another issue is if you start digging around, rerouting springs may contribute to some other issues. The last word that I heard on it, I talked with one of them, is they may not even be putting it there.
Oh, really?
They
Okay.
may be unable to do that because of the problems with the excavation that's going to happen. Very bluntly, they probably are going to put it in dresser at the VFW on Highway 35, is what they're talking about. So that could happen, and so then I don't know what other plans there is besides that in the future.
Is there another place down that area that they could have it, so it doesn't have to move out of Osceola? I don't know.
Yeah, without looking at it further, I don't know.
Yeah.
Now, without maybe running into the same type of thing if you're down by the
Right,
creek,
that's
but.
what I was worried about.
And the others there, you can see if you have any questions on the remaining items that I had.
Thank you, Joel.
Thank you.
Police.
Good evening, everybody.
Hey, Ron.
Any questions on statistics I listed in July? It's kind of the same format, but it's just a good way to let you know kind of what Officer dealt with that one, so. As we're looking at maybe moving into our new building this fall, we started looking at evidence and stuff, and, we're switching over to new evidence system with scanner based instead of pen and paper, just much easier to track. Actually works with our record management system currently, so it's a nominal cost for scanners and tags. It's just gonna be a big task, actually going through the evidence now and getting the tag, converting everything over, but once we do that, it'll be really, really nice for the future, so we're working on that right now. Recently had a meeting with the police and fire committee, fire department, too. It was a good meeting. We got to explain, a lot of stuff that we're working on, go over the budget, both capital and local, and also talk about staffing and go over some staffing numbers per the spreadsheet from the Northwestern University, the police allocation manual, along with, in case of the police department, the number of officers per 1,000. And then answer any questions they might have or, give additional information. It's just nice to get together and exchange information face to face, so that was a good meeting. Bob Schmidt and I just returned from the Police Leadership Conference in Green Bay. It was a joint conference this year that I told you about before with the schools. Good conference, only a day and a half was dedicated to the police school thing, but it was well needed because a lot of incidents, critical incidents that schools focus on before and during the incident. Where this focused on, as soon as the incident's done, what do? Reunification, where do people go, how do you document and be accountable for the kids, who do you release to who? A lot of stuff that I had not thought of because sometimes you tend to get focused on the actual event. So took a lot of good notes, and Bob and I are gonna get together and meet with the school and just kind of talk about what we learned. So that went well. That's pretty much my report. Any questions?
I was curious as to that conference. We were talking about the amount of officers, the full-time officers and the part-time, and the full-time officers versus how many thousands of people they have. Well, did they ever mention that, like, the workforce that's in town, is that affected at all? Or is that too much of a fluid amount of bodies that are in town?
There's a couple different numbers for the FBI based on population levels and anticipated industrial size things in each city of certain population.
Yeah.
So in the FBI's case, what they do is they go through a bunch of studies, empirical studies from the National Institute of Justice. They do a ton of studies. So that's how they come up with their formulas. The spreadsheet that I use was created by Northwestern University for police staffing levels based on workload data. So it's pretty labor intensive plugging in all the workload data for the year or a certain time period, and it goes off that, including time allocated for public relations. Minimum amount is 25 minutes. It's a mathematical formula basically, and they're units, not officers. Like any math, it's labeled.
Right.
They're units, but I'd be happy at some point. I'm going to meet with police and fire or admin and finance in the near future and go over that with them as well. And I also have a manual that kind of breaks everything down in layman terms as to how it operates and why. What formulas are used and things like that. So it's pretty comprehensive.
Yeah, because it's leading into a couple of things that we probably really need to be serious about and start looking at the numbers. Same way with the fire department too, as far as their different ratings and the classes for the amount of people and the structures that we have and what's going on, the responses. So I just want you to know that that's really important.
I appreciate that.
And that you need to have those numbers ready when we really start buckling down here.
I have them ready. And like I
Yeah.
pointed out to the police and fire committee, you have the FBI number of officers per 1,000 here, which is done on their studies.
Right.
And you have the Northwestern spreadsheet, which is based on data. They're completely different.
Right.
And they're pretty consistent with each other for a community our size and our call volume. So
Right.
again, we can cover all that stuff when you're ready. But I'm ready. I have it all prepared. So
All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ron. Library report.
Hello, how's it going? I brought Rebecca Palmer
here with me tonight. She's our youth services librarian at the library. Many of you board members actually probably haven't met her or seen her. She's been at the library now 3 years. She does a wonderful job with the early literacy program, with school age after school activities and schools out activities. And she also runs the YAC, the Youth Advisory Council, which is the teens. She's pretty much the reason why the library is full of kids and noisy all the time, and why we need more space.
Nothing wrong with noisy kids.
There's not, no, it's awesome. She does a wonderful job, and we're really happy to have her. She does well connecting with local families and local organizations, but she's gonna talk a little bit about the summer learning program. All right, I'm just gonna run through this really quick. So our summer learning program theme this year was Peace, Love, Read, which was absolutely my favorite theme so far. It was really fun to do. So our summer learning program has 2 components at the OPL. We do a reading component where kids log how many hours they read throughout the summer, and then events and programming. So we kicked off our summer learning program this year with Rhubarb Days, which kind of got wet, but it was fun anyway. And then Movies Under the Stars, which is always a big hit. A couple of highlights: we had Cockadoodle Zoo, petting zoo at the library this summer. They brought kangaroos and lemurs, and that was really fun. Bruce the Bug Guy brought all his creepy crawlies to us, including a tarantula. I have kids' pictures holding tarantula. It was pretty. I did not. Totally Turtles came. She brought snapping turtles and slut red painted turtles and all kinds, and the kids had a lot of fun. They got to feed them tadpoles and stuff. Rebecca, can I just plug in for one Oh, second? sure. So we did all these events outside the library. We did them at the intermediate school and in the mill pond. So next year, we're really looking forward to doing them in the library. So sorry.
No worries.
It don't
Yeah,
matter if it rains.
Right, that's exactly right.
Yeah, Totally Turtles, we had 83 people show up for that, so there's no way we could have done it in the library. Big Fun Playdates are one of my favorite programs. We always get a whole bunch of people for those. They're really fun for babies and toddlers and families. We did 2 teen volunteering days this summer. We did one at Community Homestead, and we did one at Farmhouse State Animal Sanctuary in Lundstrom. Those were really fun. I'm just going to throw a few numbers at you. We had over 700 total attendance for our summer programs this year, which is, we were swamped all the time. And we had 722 reading logs turned in. Each reading log is 3 hours of reading, so it's about 2,160 hours of reading that our Osceola kids did. So.
Rebecca, do you find that children are more open to tarantulas, spiders, turtles than adults, or?
Ball pythons.
Yeah, I was going to say our snake.
I don't like them.
No, I don't.
We know that. Yeah.
Or are they not? Or would you say it's
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Rebecca.
That's a lot of focus.
Public Works.
Well, in addition to, good to see you all.
Good to see you.
In addition to the report here, storms, well, first off, you turn on the heat outside, it's so hot. The guys are out there all the time. Anyway, storm damage, we're continuing to pick up the storm damage from the last storms that seem to only hit Osceola.
We're special.
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, we're gonna be picking that up through the 20th. There was a fence that was damaged over on 4th Avenue parking lot that's being replaced. We take that home, it's beautiful, the work they're doing. Just looks great. Is there any questions on the report?
I got Joel, with the storm that went through, of course it's my block, all the contractors that come through, is that something the village regulates, all these contractors that come in, or no?
No, we
Okay.
don't regulate. I think we had one come in for a direct seller's permit to go door to door.
Direct seller's permit, but otherwise, no.
Yeah.
Cause it's crazy, the
Yeah.
amount of contractors
You know,
going
and
through the
the
area.
fraud thing, you know, Ron, you guys send out a lot of stuff on
Yeah.
Facebook and stuff. You know, and that's something to really be aware of, is
Yeah.
some of these fraudulent contractors coming through. And they do scam a lot of the elderly people.
Yeah.
And, so that's, I don't know,
Yeah, I
I
didn't
don't know
know.
what our power is to.
I'm under the belief that they all should have seller's permits. I mean, if they're working with the insurance company and it's set up for them to look and check for damage, that's one thing, but if someone's looking for solicit business and talk, I had a guy, I took a day off work at a garage sale, and the guy pulled up and he got out, and he stopped right in front of me, and he was really angry, he's like,
Huh.
Look at the damage.
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
What are you talking about? All the storm damage on the roof. I'm like, there's no storm damage. He's like, I can see it all over your gutters.
Oh.
I'm like, what is this guy talking about? There's no damage.
Right.
So it does have to be regulated, I think, the best it can, and if we see people going door to door, if we get calls on it, we'll ask if they got a permit.
Okay.
So that's kind of our
Yeah.
case.
Okay, thank you.
I had a question, yeah, and I didn't hear a pump at the River Street lift station place. Where is that?
That is all the way at the end off of Seventh Avenue. There's
Oh, at the north
two
end.
houses are on it.
Okay.
So very, very small pumps, but yet very, very expensive pumps.
Okay.
Actually just got the call today that that pump's done.
I just never saw any kind of any kind of official station or
Yep.
anything. I was just curious where it was.
Yeah, they couldn't get that to gravity to the pipes that were under the street, so.
Okay, thanks.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
I think we should, well, if we haven't already heard, congratulate Rick and his wife on their newborn about a month ago.
Sounds like sleep deprivation going.
It's okay, my wife's off work, so she said, no, you sleep, you still have to go in.
Well, you have a good wife. We'll
Yes,
see
I do.
how long that lasts.
Yeah.
But every time that baby cries, I wake up anyway.
Yeah.
So,
So,
thanks.
Whole life changes now.
Yes.
In a good way though.
Yes, I miss them.
Super. Thank you.
thanks, Rick.
Fire.
Well, gentlemen,
Enjoy.
So first of all, I'd like to start out off the report is, one thing off this, we had National Night Out last Tuesday. So that was a nice event to get out and have people come in and see, all three emergency services in town, police, fire, and ambulance. So that was good, kids enjoyed it, and, I think it was pretty good turnout considering the short notice. We kind of whipped that together in pretty short notice, and thank you, Ron, for kind of driving some of that, even though you were out of town. Another thank you again, just as Rod had mentioned, I'd like to thank the Police and Fire Committee for getting together. I think that definitely did help with some feedback. I know as an officer on the fire department, it was good to get feedback back from that discussion. So, on the report, pretty light month overall. 3 runs total, 3 runs in the village, and all 3 were smoke or alarm calls. So no incidents, no fires, no accidents, no extrication or anything like that we had to do this month. So quiet month, so which is okay. So everybody was safe. And, next item on the agenda, we've been pursuing ISO rating. The last time we had met, we were scheduled to have that on August 8th. That is going to be rescheduled for August 23rd. So they still are coming out. Some changes since the last report were with discussion with the auditor. Paul's worked with them very closely. We may be able to improve our rating. So last time we were looking at just being sure with some high confidence we'd be able to maintain our current ratings. Now actually I think we have opportunities with sharing some more information with the auditors about what we have in place. And overall, we should be able to potentially improve our ratings.
And I think we talked at police and fire, that means a significant reduction in insurance costs for
It can.
businesses in the area that are covered by that.
Correct.
Yeah.
ISO does use, or insurance, businesses tend to use ISO ratings
Yeah.
for their premiums and stuff, so.
One thing too with that is that they did not know the airbase had a water system.
Yep.
So with that being known now, that might even help Farmington Township
Definitely.
Correct.
with
Good.
distance to water.
Water supply and such.
Correct.
So it's been with some discussion and working with them closely and really digging into some of the conversations on what it takes to actually get and improve the ratings and having some of that dialogue, digging deeper and then asking more questions. So that Q&A definitely drove some feedback that was favorable to what we may be able to provide for them when they come out on the 23rd.
Good.
And I mentioned the Police and Fire Committee, we We also had a first committee for the new ladder truck, so we had purchased the ladder and had started on that process. We had our first meeting on August 8th for that as well, to get together and start working on plans for that, particular, and that would be replacing the 50-foot telesquirt elevated stream we have with a 65-foot elevated stream. So that additional elevated stream and also the pump capacity on that will also be part of that ISO rating.
The age of your truck you're replacing, how old is it?
1972.
1972. Yep.
And the goal of the committee is to come up with a design, then get a cost, so we can then run that through, yeah.
There's only a few of us left older than the truck.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
Yeah. And I know it's sometimes, but for the purpose of that rig and that purpose, it does add those extra pumps, that extra capacity, that extra response rate, that definitely drives those ratings down. We had a contractor in this last week, on August 8th as well. They were in the building to finish up insulation. So insulation had to be resealed and retied off up at the top in the girders to seal, and they came in and did that and completed that follow-up work from the renovation of the fire hall on August 8th. And 9th, I believe they had to come back the next day to finish that. So IT updates for the hall are near completion. In implementation of ImageTrend is application and software for fire inspections that is installed and ready to use. So we should start using that now. And we do have Kristen. Kristen Nelson will be going around, so that'll definitely be a help in us getting out and getting our fire inspections back on track and online. So updates for the new hall. There's updates in bold on there. The line items for the most part are the same. Some things have changed with discussion with the police and fire committee. Exterior lights in the northeast corner of the truck bay. This issue was a contractor follow-up, but the fire department will do that. We'll take our lift, we'll go up there and we'll address that issue within the department. Grading on the north side of the meeting area, that should be a contractor follow as well. And I do believe the engineer was out there after our last village board meeting to check that and some additional follow-ups for grade. Meeting with the OFD chiefs down in Paul to discuss will need to be set or should be set. Because water has penetrated through the wall on that north side of that building twice since our last village board meeting.
Yeah, in addition to that grading on that site too, we're gonna look at the flashing. I think I mentioned that to Don too. And just for the board too, the hail that came through, we're having an adjuster go out, because it did take hail on that shingle roof there.
And we got damage from JNS to Federated. If you go by the cornfield on Otto's land there, it's shredded.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was definite evidence to have it checked out.
So, but when it does come in, it comes in pretty good. And it'll run across that entire wall all the way up to the new countertop and the new kitchen area up there. So it just, so that really does need to be addressed. Otherwise, that'll just create issues that will have to be revisited later. The fire department sign, we were informed that the check has been set to begin the work. So down payment on that, but the vendor has not received, so it says the payment should be verified.
Yeah, he'll call in Thursday or Friday. If he doesn't get it, but it should be there by the day.
And then the awnings on the doors and the electrical panels and boxes, this will be revisited in 2019 based on the review with the police and fire committee meeting. So that one we'll put back on the list of to-dos. The next item, the gravel and rock, which was you had a quote for the last village report meeting. We had an additional $1,000 for landscaping materials on top of that was proposed. And then with the donations that are there, so for updates, firefighters are gonna do the work. We would need payment for the supplies soon, and I think the date and so getting that payment to the vendor sooner would be better. And the date established so that the volunteer labor will have time, because there are constraints for their scheduling and going into the fall season. Just wanted to, with the quote we got from JNS to do that work versus what we're all trying to work together with volunteering, that's 25 cents on the dollar against that original quote.
That's the south side of the building.
It's the south side of the building.
South side.
wrap it around.
And some of that cost, I think, Market and Johnson was bearing, because they were gonna reseed that area there too, so I think that comes under the old contract too, some of that cost.
And that's what JNS will preset and
Yeah.
have those preset.
So some of that cost is relieved from us then, yeah.
So it'd be nice if we could get a decision on that, because I know Paul's donating some equipment and to work with, Dan Strobach is, and Mark Montgomery is helping to donate some things, and then we will have, an all-call for our department to come in and help with the labor side of it, to just get it done.
Yeah, With the changes we talked
That
about in
much
police and
value
fire,
on
that's,
that.
that's doable this year, but when you change those things around for looking into the future, so, for the other ones.
So, you need an answer
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
by when?
Before the fall hits too soon, so, because these guys got other commitments that they have to deal with, and that heavy equipment, that's hard to get that much donated time with heavy equipment and volunteer time, so the sooner we can get that ball rolling and get that gravel and rock ordered, the sooner we can plan it and get that managed on our end and schedule for the department, so.
That'll also help Raybeck, because they don't have the rock in place yet. They're gonna open the quarry up for that, mill that stone for us, and then have a little stockpile on the side.
Because it's below $10,000,
Yeah,
so we can just do it,
okay.
yeah.
So what do we?
It was less than $10,000 overall,
Correct.
net cost.
Yeah, it was around, I'd have to roughly check, I think it was
$6,100
$6,100.
Yeah, $6,100 for the gravel.
We're estimating
So
about another
below
$1,000.
10,000, then, if it's a consensus of the board, we can just implement it and do that. so.
We can just order the supplies if it's okay, and we have an okay, we'll just get it ordered and get that ball moving, and we'll coordinate and plan all the activity within the department. So, the tile and floor polishing, again, with the police and fire committee review meeting, we'll table that particular issue, that'll get revisited next year. We'll leave that off the table for this year. Installing heat tape roof and gutters, we need payment and date to the vendor from the village to begin work on that. That would be nice. The considerations on that is there's only about 6 to 8 inches overhang on that steel roof. Stuff sliding off. We've got a vent a vent on one end of there, plus there's also electrical panels. And the generator in the back as well is probably within that drop zone if sheets of ice are sliding off that roof. And that's all on the south side. So if you do get storms and you get weather, that's gonna heat up and that stuff's gonna slide off of the roof, so if you take your chances and you don't have any damage, that may be, but, that quote was to try and get some tape along that entire wall, put some of those ice dams up there so that they can break that fall up and not make that stuff fall down off.
But the heat tape was,
That was for the entire building.
Right,
too,
that's for
not
entire
just
building.
the fire department
But-
side, but then
yeah.
also on the.
but we
other.
did that under the previous contract and approvals, so we had to wait for the gutters to be there,
Yes.
right? So that one's already pre-approved.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then we can.
Then you can
move
go
on.
ahead,
Just
yeah,
wanna be
since,
sure.
because they're all up, right? The gutters, I walked
The
there.
gutters, I thought were only up on the front side. I don't think we have gutters
On
on
the back side.
No.
Oh, we just ran around the front side, so you want the,
Just over the big doors.
over the big doors, that's where you're running the heat tape.
entrance on the
Yeah,
north
on the
side.
entrance on the north
Yeah,
side.
the equipment
Okay.
that was added is all on the south side, so anything that's on that outside wall, there's no awning, there's no overhang
Right.
up there to prevent stuff from dropping down.
Yeah,
So,
right.
the seal the concrete floor in the truck bay, there had us an estimate on there that was just basically supplies that has been ordered, and the fire department will do that reseal on the inside of
Yeah, because you got the word that was a densifier they put on, but it
Yes.
wasn't a sealer, that thing.
It's not a seal.
No, it
It was
wasn't a
a
seal,
it was a
yes.
densifier, yeah.
Correct. So, and the other ones on the item, there are some things, the interior truck bay is still, we're planning on doing that repair in the front window we would like to do when we're out there doing all of that landscaping in the front. We'll do that, the radio antenna and cable, we're doing that work, the update on that is the bracket for the antenna and the access for the cable on the exterior of the truck bay was completed. So there were some challenges trying to run that cable all the way through the meeting side of that hall. So we removed that off of the light pole.
Oh, you ran it
We
well
attached
into the
to
truck, oh, I see what you
building,
did.
So that when we mount that antenna, it's on the building and we're just coming through the one wall and right back into where the radio will be.
Oh, that's what you
mounted on the front. So
did, okay.
the bracket's up, we just have to basically get the cable in and the radio
All
installed.
right, that's- all right.
you had mentioned hail damage assessments, so that's gonna be happening here between now and the next meeting. And, you know.
They'll be
let-
contacting Paul to arrange
did.
that. Oh, you did, okay.
I was up there with them. They looked at it, there's just one of the, 4 roofs that they'll replace. Otherwise, the other 3, there wasn't enough damage.
There was enough damage, okay.
To do, so, yeah.
Hmm.
And then Wheels and Wings prep, so we're only a month away. So we'll be working on that a lot within the department for training and planning and awareness and stuff like that, so getting geared up and the buzz is starting, so.
Yeah, are you part of that again this year?
Mm-hmm.
If you need, or, cause I haven't heard anything,
Yeah, Ron's been attending more of the meetings now,
so,
so,
yeah, I haven't seen
Yeah.
anything, so.
yeah.
The sooner we can, cause usually we end up getting that notification pretty late. We're trying
Okay.
to plan and make sure that everything
Ron will
fortunately tends to
get with
stay
you.
about the same, but if anything changes, then
Yeah.
you don't have the time to respond. Fortunately, it stays pretty consistent, but. Any questions?
Thanks,
Enjoy.
Thanks a lot. Okay, building permits. We are now 7/12 through the year, and we remain more than double in the dollars of permits compared to last year, which I reiterate was a real good year, and now we're more than double that. A little over 3.8 million compared to 1,876,000 at this point last year. And that's the dollars, number of permits, 50 compared to 31 at this time last year.
Mm-hmm.
Continues to go well.
Yeah, I think
Chamber of Commerce, Main Street, we have their report.
I don't know if there's
No one,
nobody here for that. We had Valley Brewfest coming up on the August 18th, 4 to 8 p.m. In the parking lot behind the post office there in P-Wise. Then they've got the Community Bazaar coming up on September 8th with Wheels and Wings. And Discover Wisconsin's coming second filming on the 29th and 30th. They were here, what, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
Post on Facebook, that was really very positive for
Yeah.
us. And I think I read they're gonna broadcast it in March of 19.
Oh, is it? I didn't hear.
Be watching for that.
all right, and then we have the board, committee, commission report.
Reports.
Plan Commission, August 7th, Airport Commission from June 18th, the Library Board from June 21st. Any questions of anyone on those? All right, approval of vouchers payable. In addition to what was in your packet, there was a partial
There was a handout
paid
there.
before you tonight.
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers.
I'll second that.
Motion by Van, seconded by Bruce, to approve the vouchers payable as presented. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously. Discussion of any other items, round table, Bob?
Nope.
Bruce?
Nope.
Jeremy?
Nope.
Stephen? Van? Joel?
Nope.
Okay. Entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.851B, C, and E for purposes of discussing personnel and the investment of public funds.
Make a motion to go into closed session.
Motion by Bruce,
I'll second it.
seconded by Van. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Well, you need a roll,
Uh,
need a
roll
roll,
call.
oh, sorry, roll call, yeah.
And roll call. Bob,
Aye.
Bruce,
Aye.
Karen.
Aye.
And carried unanimously 6-0
Thanks, guys.
at 6:59.
6:59, yep.
Everybody.
All right, get this stopped here.